At Xbox, we have a controller design that our fans love. However, for gamers with limited mobility or gamers who don't use both their hands, this controller design might not work best for them.
I pushed you out of the way, I'm sorry. Doorknobs are the worst thing ever invented. Putting on shoes, the cell phones that I use, these are the sorts of things that we don't think about until we have to. And I think about them every day.
Yeah!
I have cerebral palsy on my entire right side. This side of the controller is fine. This side doesn't happen. As game platforms have gotten more sophisticated, the controllers have gotten more sophisticated, and it started to get really frustrating.
We designed the Xbox Adaptive Controller through feedback from the accessibility community.
The Xbox Adaptive Controller is really easy. You just plug it in, and then you can plug in various other devices. I can make it work for me the way it has to.
With the Xbox Adaptive Controller, a gamer can game with one hand and one foot, or one hand and their shoulder, or even one foot and their chin.
And I can change it from game to game.
The Xbox Adaptive Controller, an innovation by Microsoft for Xbox One and PC gaming platforms. The design process for this product started back in 2015. In 2017, it was finally released as a prototype collaboration with other organizations in the accessibility field and with manufacturers to help produce this product. The gaming accessibility organizations that they worked alongside, which were also non-for-profit, were the Able Gamers Foundation, Warfighter Engaged, Special Effect, and Cerebral Palsy Foundation. The reason for this specific product to be innovative is the fact that no other organization has built an adaptive controller like this and marketed it towards the specific segment demographic. What makes the Xbox Adaptive Controller innovative? Well, first, let me state what innovation is from the government's perspective. Innovation is the process of coming up with a new idea, process, or to create more effective product ideas. Microsoft, owner of Xbox, designed this controller specifically to help disabled gamers enjoy games in a different way. The controller is completely remappable, so each button can do a different movement or action depending on the individual, as stated by Xbox themselves. With the Xbox Adaptive Controller, there also came a possibility for augmentation of the product. You are able to buy aftermarket products for it, like joysticks, buttons, foot switches, a complete kit from Logitech, and so much more still getting released for it to this day. The controller can be used on any Xbox One and personal computer with a simple USB input connection with its 9-inch cable. When the Xbox Adaptive Controller was released in 2018, it was a one-of-a-kind design. Most controllers consisted of regular buttons, like PlayStation's controller and Xbox controller. But these controllers were too difficult to use for someone with a physical impairment. They usually needed bigger buttons and ones that did not require a lot of force to push. They were also hard to grip, and the buttons were too crammed together, so it was easier to push the wrong button. The Xbox Adaptive Controller was specifically segmented towards the physically and mentally impaired demographic. There is no real age bracket for the controller, as gamers in this time can change anywhere from 18 years and under to 65 years and over, with a predominant amount of gamers being in the age bracket of 18 to 35 years in the US. Roughly around 15% of the world's population sit with a disability, which of 2 to 4% cannot function in a normal manner. You can see how the controller is directed towards these individuals through the design of the controller with large pads and the many accessories it comes with. It was also not directed to the high income earners, as shown by the price of $99.99 USD. As stated in the Bureau of Labor Statistics in the US, only 19.1% of disabled individuals are able to work or were employed in 2018. They could not overprice this product, as most of the time the individuals buying it would not be those with the disability, as only 19.1% of them would have been able to afford it. They would have also had to look at family and who had disabled individuals in their family. Although it may not be the most popular controller out there, it is very different and special in its own way, with the marketing segments being disabled individuals, parents, spouses, and or those with disabled members in close relation to them. Microsoft was responding to the technological environment with this controller. Although controllers are not a new thing, the design of this controller in the technological field makes it new. It is a safe and easy to use, specifically designed with the large pads, round edges, and buttons that are spread out, so you do not press the wrong buttons. With technological advancements, marketers need to consistently think about how they can make the most ergonomic, sustainable, and eco-friendly appliance for the consumer. As stated in the principles of marketing, as the technology advances, so does other companies' products, and if a company refuses to advance, they will see a decline in their business. Examples of how a company can show an advancement is in the way that Microsoft responded to the need of a new controller. There were already previous designs for the typical controller, but as the console became more intricate, the controllers had to follow that intricacy, which made it difficult for disabled users to use. But the adaptive controller made it easier to use and also more ergonomic. Although the old controllers will not die out anytime soon, this is still a response to the change in the environment and a response to the need of something that is easier to use for the disabled individuals and even individuals that just prefer easier controls. Microsoft designed a box specifically for the adaptive controller, which was just as innovative as the product. It allowed for the individuals without hands or even arms to be able to open it. Mark Weiser, a designer from Microsoft, explained that most individuals with a disability use their teeth to open packaging. Microsoft used this and found an easier way to do this through using loops, hinges, access ports, ribbons, and levers, which made it easier for them to open with their teeth or any other way that they would prefer. Packaging design needs to be socially sustainable to be used over and over again with different products to not just make it easier to use, but also safe and reliable, stated by Ozzy. They also released a full video on how all the different parts of the packaging works and how it can be opened, adding to this idea of making it socially sustainable and ease of use of packaging. In conclusion, Microsoft did a great job in the innovation of the product through its design and response to the need of helping disabled individuals play games again. They responded to the demographic and focused their efforts to assist this demographic by including them in the design process. They responded well to the change in the technology and the need for a new controller that had not yet been thought of, giving them this innovative advantage through not just their product, but also the design of their packaging and the way it was presented. Even providing a video guide on how to open the box if they were having difficulty doing it.